Hi, guys. Welcome to our third episode of Once More with Abby and Claire. And this week, we have a very special guest. We have Canadian boy Ryan Joyner, joining us for our Buffy podcast. As always, Slutty the Clown herself, Claire Bacon, and
Hey.
myself, Abby Road Rage. We are here discussing all things Buffy from the very beginning because for no other reason that we love the show and it gives us an excuse to rewatch it and talk about it. And we want to talk to you about it because it's fantastic. So this week we are on episode 6 and 7. We're covering the Pack episode 6 first, and then we'll go into Angel episode 7. So to start with, sorry, keep Mr. Flutie, but we'll get there. There is a class trip to the zoo. Well, I don't know if you guys want to start, if you just want to make a brief rundown, whatever works, but we should go to Ryan maybe and see. Welcome, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan's the guest.
Before we get started, I just want to say one thing. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to thank Perfect Turd Podcast for giving us a shout out.
They were on my list for
I want to give them a shout out back because reciprocation is my favorite word. So Lamar and Joe, we really appreciate that.
Absolutely amazing YouTube channel. Get yourselves over there, subscribe, join, put notifications on for them.
Cult classics, B movies, Ryan Joyner, you would probably really enjoy them. So I'll send you.
Yeah, they're great. They're top guys.
We'll put their link at the bottom.
I think
Claire will do that because she's.
Yeah, I'm going to get my head on the links this week and sort myself out. I swear.
Awesome. Okay, so I didn't mean to interrupt you. Anybody? Would anybody like to start, or do you want me to just give a brief rundown of the episode, or if you'd like to just jump right into it to your favorite parts, or?
No, I think this, especially episode 6, I think that merits a descriptor because I forgot just how insane that episode.
I'll give you a brief rundown of the episode. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, even though it was on 25 years ago. Just saying. So kids go on a field trip to the zoo. There's a douchebag named Kyle DeFore. All the guys' names are douchey, like Kyle, Lance.
Just
douchey names. And they are taunting poor little Lance, who's like a sweet boy, a little nerdy boy. And they then go into the area of the zoo, which has been closed off, never to go in. It is no, quarantine hyenas. But of course, kids are shitty and they don't care if they break the rules. So they go in there. They take poor Lance in there. They are aggressively trying to feed him to the hyena. Xander, being the Xander that he is, jumps in and, basically says, pick on someone your own size. With this, we see a little flashlight in the old hyena's eyes, and the kids all sort of flash with this light. And then chaos ensues. So what seems to have happened is, or the Scooby Gang comes up with the fact that this hyena pack, it's a Maasai primal cult soul transfer. So somehow they initiated this I guess curse or what's the word I'm looking for? My brain is squish. Spell. And they have now received the spirit of these evil hyenas into their poor little accessible minds. So the bullies and by proxy Xander have been possessed by said hyenas. I got that so far?
Yep, right on.
Yeah,
I do want to point out that the doctor, Dr. Weirick, who is the guy that says no go to the hyenas, it's off. His name is James Stevens, and I legit looked through his entire IMDb to figure out.
Have you seen how long it is?
Yes.
His IMDb.
But I legit know exactly where I know him from. He was in one episode of 21 Jump Street back in the day. And that's what I know him for, because I've seen it 400 times, that show. And I was sitting to myself going, there's got to be something else I know him. No, that's it. 21 Jump Street. That is the only.
Do you know what I remembered him from? Which is the worst thing in the world. And Rich pointed it out. Father Dowling Investigates.
Oh, I love that show with what's his face?
Me too. And that's what I remembered him from.
Mr. C. What the hell was his name? Tom Bosley? Is that right?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think it might have been.
It might have been.
We have some comments. We've got Clint Myers. Did they have a Bryce?
They didn't have a Bryce on this episode, but there was, I believe, a Bryce in the episode with the teacher's pet. Wasn't that kid's name Bryce?
Yes, I think there was. Yes.
So this had a Kyle, a Tor, T-O-R, and Lance, who was actually the good kid, but still Lance. Come on. So we get to meet Mr. Flutie again. We love Mr. Flutie. Sorry, Mr. Flutie. We meet the mascot of the Razorbacks at the Sunnydale High School Razorbacks football team, which is an adorable, sweet, delicious little pig.
Bless, sweet little piggy.
Mm. And we notice going through the next day, that Xander is getting more aggressively testosterone-y and smelling, like sniffing Buffy's hair. And poor Willow, that's just trying to help him with his homework, he is so shitty to her that I wanted to throat punch him. Just saying. Thoughts, feelings on that? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a normal way for Xander to behave, was it? And it is like really nasty. It's kind of hurtful. He was
teasing her and then putting her down, and it's everything that every bully has ever done to any of us in our life. And it actually hit me in a spot that I did not care for. And
I must admit, as a rewatch, it was quite painful to watch. And as we get further in, it's even more painful.
Yeah.
Douchebag Xander is worse Xander.
What's that?
Said douchebag Xander is worst Xander.
Is worse, even worse than his penis got diseases from a shoemash truck. Sorry, that's later. But
they did.
We meet the mascot Herbert, who is instantly afraid of Xander and the other bullies in the pack. We come to find out why. Buffy knocks Xander unconscious, I believe, at this point, when he makes an aggressive pass at her after putting Willow down.
She hits him with a table.
I was going to say, he straight up tries to assault her.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. It's hard to watch, actually.
Rightfully flattens his ass and locks him in a cage, which I think, why not? And then decides she needs to go and find the zookeeper and find out what happened here, because she's convinced it's something about the pack behavior and this aggressiveness that she remembers the phrase active aggression that this gentleman, this Dr. Weirick, mentions. So Giles takes off to the zoo, because you could just do that in Sunnydale. You could just go to the zoo at any time of the day or night.
He doesn't have a job he has to stay at. He just goes.
Yeah. And I like that. You could just it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to go to the zoo and see the zookeeper. That's cool.
Yeah.
So he goes in.
You'd be surprised how much clout librarians have.
That's true, actually. Although I do believe he probably spoke to him on the phone first, coordinated the whole. Because when he gets there, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Weirick has his face painted in a very tribal mannerism.
Yes.
And has what Giles feels painted, a symbol on the floor to complete the transfer of the soul back to the hyena. And Giles then realizes that the symbol would have to have been on the floor originally for the transition to happen to start with. So he then realizes he might be in over his head, and we lost our friend Ryan. I do want to say, I mentioned this to Claire earlier, Ryan is in Canada, Claire is in the UK. I am in the United States. So we have a 3-country podcast going at the moment.
We are multicultural this evening.
We really are. And, you know, if I keep drinking any more of this thing, I'm going to start speaking Pig Latin. So that's like,
can't beat Pig Latin.
So I think we lost Ryan, but he'll be back. He's got that janky Wi-Fi. So, Buffy does some research about said hyenas. She does talk to a zookeeper guy before this and determines, he says, that the other hyenas will always complete their pack. So she has Xander, and she realizes she's left Willow with Xander in danger because they're all coming to bring the pack.
Bear in mind, they've already eaten poor little Piggy and Principal Flutie.
And Mr. Flutie calls all the bad kids. Now, at this point, Xander is unconscious. He did eat a pig, but at this point, he is unconscious and locked up when... That's true. Testosterone is great on pizza.
It's very true.
So, I lost my train of thought. Thank you, sir. So yes, Xander is locked up in a cage, but the other pack members find Mr. Flutie, who confronts them in his office, and they in turn ate Mr. Flutie. So R.I.P. Mr. Flutie. Ken Lerner, the actor, plays Mr. Flutie. You've known him from a million different things. He's fantastic. I think he was just a chiller in New Jersey. Nice guy, from what I understand. Haven't met him myself. Let's see. So at this point, everybody heads to the zoo to try to thwart the transfer and kill the bad guy and
save the day, do the mission.
Yeah. So again, when they get there, it's Willow that is captured. Is that correct? And he's got the knife to her throat.
Giles was already there wanting. He got hit and shoved in a cupboard.
Yeah, he got knocked out again. Poor Giles got a lot of head injuries.
He gets locked up a lot, and then of course Willow. He says, "Oh yeah, you can help me with it," and she just stands there while he ties her hands up.
And he gets the knife, and she's just like, "This might not have been my best
something's wrong there."
Yeah.
Oh, we got Adam. Good evening, Adam. We love you too. Nice to see you.
Adam, you're going to come on soon, I hope?
Yeah, we're going to get Adam on soon.
About Buffy. You're back. Yay,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We had a mini crisis. It's been averted.
Oh, I'm so glad it's been averted. Crisis averted. Excitement. So, we basically just gave the run through of the whole thwarting by the Scooby Gang of the Maasai Primal Cult soul transfer, and Dr. Wyrick gets knocked out, and he does not die. Oh no, he goes over into doesn't he go over into the hyena cage?
Yeah, he gets eaten.
Yeah, got 8. Poor guy.
Got 8.
What I did like about this, at the end of the day, when everybody's souls get transferred back to everybody's bodies, Xander plays the amnesia game. Was I really bad? I don't remember a thing about that.
It's like, I do nothing. Not a thing.
And Giles calls him out on it, as he should. And again, R.I.P. Mr. Flutie and R.I.P. Herbert the mascot. I think I was more sorry about Herbert the mascot. He was really cute with his little razor back.
He was, yeah. His little razor back. Yeah, it was cute. It was very cute.
So, Ryan, your thoughts of this episode? Since anything exciting to add?
I had not seen this episode since the show originally aired.
Wow.
I was a big Buffy fan for exactly 3 seasons. And to this day, I have never made it past season 3.
Wow.
But I have rewatched.
Oh, he's never seen Hush. Sorry.
Oh wow, you've never seen so much.
No, I know that's the creepy episode, right? With the guys in suits or something.
There's a lot of
gentlemen.
I've never seen that.
I can't wait. I'll have to come back for that episode.
I've tried to get into it every now and again. Like I've made it to usually the 3rd or 4th episode of the first season, and then I'll get busy and I'll forget to go back to it. So your guys' podcast has actually been a really good excuse to start watching Buffy again.
That's so exactly I've been following
with you guys. I love that. And we encourage anyone to watch episodes of Buffy and come and join us.
Yeah. We just really want to talk about a show we love so much.
Yeah.
And again, if you've seen the other episodes of our podcast, we say this a lot. We love the show. We just keep throwing lines back at each other on a daily basis. And so we thought if we love it, there's so many people out there that love it. And
there has to be other people that love it as much as us. So
yeah. And I've met a couple of them so far. So.
A friend of mine commented on my, when I mentioned I was going to be on here, a friend of mine commented, her son is named Xander because of this show.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Is his full name Alexander?
I don't know.
Okay. Because that's what I always liked is that instead of going by Alex, he goes by Xander in one episode, which we will get into much later with the Vampire Slayer Joan. He thinks they're calling him Alex because he looks at his license and it's Alexander Harris. So obviously his name is Alex. And I just find it so fun. So that's the pack episode. Claire, anything to add on this episode? Any music, anything?
Only the music, as always. If Ryan's finished with what he was wanting to, if there's anything Ryan wants to say, I feel like
the only other thing I wanted to say was I'm surprised. That's what I was getting at. I've never really made it past episode 3 or 4 before. I forgot how quickly we got into stuff like magical hyena territory in this show.
Oh yeah, it goes quick.
Giant bugs, magical hyenas.
It does not take long for this show just to make. It doesn't take long for you to figure out it's not just going to be about vampires.
Yeah. Yeah. Episode 2, I think. Well, 3 technically, but yeah, the witches. And then, I love when they, granted, I love a good story arc, but Monster of the Day episodes are my fave. I just love it.
This is like you mentioned it before. This is where it starts to feel Scooby-Doo.
Yes, and it makes me very happy.
Me too. That's what we love. We love it.
And where do I know? Sorry, I keep forgetting his name. The principal. Where else? What else do I know him from?
Oh, Mr. Flutie. So that is Ken Lerner. And
I know Jen and I last night were trying to figure out.
He's been in a lot.
I'm gonna pick the thing you know him from because he's just that guy that's in all those things. But
I'll check his IMDb.
Yeah, but I'll probably shoot a couple. Do you watch the Goldbergs by any chance?
No.
Okay. I
don't know what that is. I'll look it up.
It's a sitcom, but yeah.
I thought he was Ray Romano for a second.
Nope. No, he's just that guy. But like I said, if you look at his IMDb, you've probably seen 47 things he's been in.
Yeah, you'll recognize straight away.
And he was I was telling Claire, but I don't remember if we were on or offline. I think he was just at Chiller this past one. So he does conventions.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in The Running Man. I love that movie.
Yeah, his IMDb yet again is huge.
Principal.
There'll be like a billion things.
Although, so Ryan, that I look forward to, you might have missed out on the next principal, which we won't jump the gun, but I look forward to you meeting Principal Snyder after Flutie.
Snyder's
Flutie was a good guy.
Yeah, I forgot, and that's not really. I'm not going to get too much into spoilers, but over the first couple of seasons, there are several principals, aren't there? Isn't it almost like a running gag? Or is it just the 2?
It's really the 2. Snyder's here for a while, but but yeah, I think Snyder comes in next, right? Not. Oh, and then later there is a third one, Robin.
Robin
Wood, yeah, but not like Drummers and Spinal Tap or anything.
No, okay. not that way.
It must be. I'm thinking of a different show then, but
yeah.
So all right, Claire, your thoughts on the pack?
I've got the music bits. Beginning of the episode where Willow and Buffy are talking in the Bronze about how Buffy's a bit like no man on the show and Xander's being weird. That is All You Want by Dashboard Prophets. Again, we have an appearance later on when the bullies walk into the Bronze a little bit later, a couple of seconds later, by Sprung Monkey, with Reluctant Man, Sprung Monkey
That's the
Ears.
second time they've been
Yeah,
on,
they
right?
came
were
up in Hellmouth, part
in
one.
the Hellmouth, the first episode, because
Yeah.
you don't forget a name like Sprung Monkey once you
No,
hear it.
you don't. Great band as well, as I say, they're fantastic. I will work on getting all the links in everywhere, promise. And then the slow-mo walk. Now, the slow-mo walk, I noticed, we always associate it with Angel and Spike, the slow-mo baddie walk. You actually see it in that with Xander and the hyenas when they're walking across the skull.
Yes, because it's the power. Xander usually is the bumbling, and
Yeah.
this he's got his
and you've got that slow-mo thing.
machismo.
Like, yeah, it's great. And that is Job's Eyes by far, which was a great song. So yeah, they are just the music ones for this week, as I usually do. So that was for
Ryan,
that
we're going to, at
episode.
the end of each season, we're going to put together a mixed
Yeah.
something mixtape. I'll just say mixtape because I'm old. Of all the songs, and then we'll give you a copy because I think
Yeah.
we'll all want to hear, like, work our way through the season, and we should have one for each season.
Yeah,
Claire's our
definitely,
music
absolutely.
lady. She's in charge of
I'm in charge of the geek music stuff.
which I
I think it's great though, as we've always said every week. It's like the fact that they showcase so many new bands and brought music that people would never see at that time forward and made
Right.
a point out of it every week. I think is a great thing. And to mention it, I think we should.
Yeah, and I love the idea of putting the links up. I mean, what the hell, man? It's freaking Buffy. All right, do we have anything else to add on the pack? Should we move on to the episode Angel, or do we want to give this one a... Really wish I had ribs or something at this point to eat. I don't know why.
You need munch. You need something just to...
Just need a little Herbert to go. Ryan,
A
anything
little
else
bit-
on
baby
the
back
Gone
pack?
too soon. Nope,
Say-
nope, nothing from me.
Whenever I'm here, I'm thinking of bacon. I can't help it. My
What can
favorite
you say?
bacons. All right, so let's move on to the next
So-
episode, Angel. Now, this one
Yep.
I think is going to be a lot more to discuss. I will again give just a brief rundown of the episode, and then we're going to pick it apart because this is a big turning point. We get to
Yeah.
figure out at least some of Angel's story. So we start with the Master, who is pretty pissed that Buffy just keeps killing his people. Now he's got the Chosen One. He's planning this thing to rise to the surface, but Buffy keeps messing it up, and he's kind of pissed. Darla, she wants to be involved. Let me kill her, and the Master's like, no. So he gets the 3, and the 3 are 3 big effing vampires that are killers. So he sends the 3 after Buffy. And Angel steps in and they vanquish, well, they beat the 3 and they get away. They did not kill them. Let's see. They know that the Master is going to put the 3 to death because they failed. So they kind of feel like they have a little bit of time to, breathe a little bit. In the fight, Angel gets stabbed. I gotta take my shirt off, and
Yeah.
Buffy
I've got to
takes
take my
him-
shirt off so you can look at it. I look very smooth and young, like it. Yeah, it looks about 12. Bless his heart. It looks a slip of a
But-
lad.
You know what? I was okay with it, to be honest with you. It was all right. So she takes
Yeah,
Angel back
what a blame.
to her house and hides him in her bedroom. Well, actually, just in the house. And then doesn't Joyce come home? And
Yes.
Angel is there. And Joyce handled it like a classy mom. Let me say this right off the bat. She didn't raise a fuss. She didn't embarrass the heck out of Buffy. Just sort of introduced herself and said, might be a little late for visitors. Why don't we wrap this up? I'll see you inside. So Buffy says goodbye to Angel and then sneaks the very large man into her bedroom. Because Joyce, although a loving mother, is not very bright. So,
Yeah,
but
not
I
too
think
bright.
she had her own
but-
demons to deal with. Right? She had a little drinky and she was okay.
Yeah.
Anything to add so far before we get into the stunning
Well, I mean, for me, I feel in this episode it's quite obvious from the outset that we've obviously got the doom and gloom, the Master's plan. We've got Darla who comes in strong. She comes in so strong in this episode. You kind of get the feel for who she is suddenly and how ruthless she is. You get
Yes.
the backstory and everything. I think for me though, it's Buffy's absolute total like hussiness at this point when Angel turns up injured. She like drags him into the house. Take your shirt off. Take your coat off.
Let me. Oh my.
Oh, let me tend to you.
But
You know,
we only have one bed. Whatever.
shall we do?
But
You know,
Angel, the gentleman, agrees to sleep on the floor. Buffy takes the
course.
bed. He was a perfect
And
gentleman.
kudos again, as you say, to Buffy's mom. You know, for being a cool mom, right there.
Yeah.
You know, and not dissing her out and just saying, "Well, it's a bit late." You know, doing the cool mom. She could have gone so
Buffy's
many
mom
ways.
just wanted to go and like smoke out and just let the
Yes,
night
she just
go.
wanted to be left. To have a
She's
little,
like, Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Kudos to mom for
This
letting
kid
a much
again?
older man sleep in her teenage daughter's bedroom.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'd like to believe she didn't know that happened, especially a much, much older man. Next day, Buffy goes to school. Angel's so sweet, didn't touch me at all. Xander is incredibly jealous, as Xander does. And Buffy comes back later that evening, and Angel is still in her room. She sees her diary is open. Buffy has a little bit of a canary saying, "You read my diary, and that A is not even about you, and your eyes aren't dreamy, they're scary, and whatever." And he's like, "I didn't read your diary. Your mom came in, straightened up. I hid in the closet, and so oh, he's so sweet. He's such a gentleman, and he didn't read my diary, even though it was open on the counter. What a guy! Why don't we make out a bit? Because that's what people do." And make out, wham, vamp.
Game face.
As those of you that did not know, we determined in this episode that Angel is in fact a vampire. And as we know, there are no such thing as good vampires. Buffy screams, Angel flies out the window. Buffy's mom barges in. She says, something scared me. I thought I saw something. Okay.
Yeah, shadow or whatever. Yeah.
To be fair, Angel doesn't fly out the window. He belly flops onto the terrace and kind of does this weird floaty crawl thing.
Yeah.
Until he falls over the edge. It is like the least graceful thing I've ever seen a vampire do.
Basically, if Abby were a vampire, that would be it.
It looked like maybe he was trying to do the creepy crawl thing, but it came off as I audibly laughed out loud when I saw
He's
that.
still very delicate at this point, though, do we not feel?
Yeah.
Angel's very delicate still at this point.
So
he's something.
Buffy then goes. He is something. Buffy goes to the library to meet up with her friends, tells them of Angel, and previously, and I should mention, I forgot to mention, when we had Angel take his shirt off, she did notice the tattoo on his back of his shoulder, and she references this to Giles when they're looking up his history. And Giles, the best he can find, is a sadistic, evil vampire by the name of Angelus, who seems to fit the bill, but Angelus stopped killing about 10, 15, well, no, it was longer than that. I forget when.
I think it was something like the mid-80s. I think the status, I didn't write the date, but I think it was something like the mid-80s, they reckoned.
Yeah, so
it'd be like
Buffy,
10 to 15 years.
Buffy comes home to find that, well, there's a knock at Buffy's door. Buffy's mom answers. Who's at the door but Darla, Buffy's school friend. They're studying the whatever war it was. I'm trying to remember now. Colonial war, yeah. And she has family from then, and Joyce is just so excited that Buffy has a friend, and B, that she's studying. Yeah. So Darla's a little peckish, so Buffy's mom takes her into the kitchen to make her a snack, and she says, "Do you want something small or something big?" And from behind her, as she's looking in the fridge, you see Darla in full vamp face going, "Definitely something big." Cut to black. Buffy finds out this Angel thing, comes running home. In the interim, Angel stops Darla from draining Joyce. Darla tries to win Angel back to the dark side, but when he declines, she tosses Joyce to him and she runs out the door just in time for our thankless hero Buffy to bust
find
in
her
and see
just in
him
that
all
position.
vampy, holding bleeding, passed out Joyce. So, thoughts? Nothing.
Ryan?
I thought this episode happened a lot later on in the season. I was surprised that this was episode 7. I must be remembering it differently. I swear the
You'll know
angel
why
reveal.
later.
You will, and I feel we just hit the same point. You'll know why later.
I swear the angel reveal was the big twist at the end of the first season.
That is the angel turns into Angela. Spoiler alert. That's
that happens at the end of the first season?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait.
When Buffy loses her virginity, a very special episode of Buffy the Vampire
Yes,
Slayer.
I thought that was the season.
Which essentially
special episode of Buffy
breaks the. Yeah, we won't go too far into it because spoilers, but basically, yeah.
Yeah, so you're right.
It'll start making sense as I go on, but yeah, I'm obviously getting the back half of this season all flippity flopped.
And so we come to find out Buffy takes off after Angel to kill him for attacking her mother. The Scoobies go to the hospital with Joyce. Even the librarian is there. What a great school this is. They really care. Even the librarian stops by to see.
Amazing service.
Yeah. So Buffy confronts Angel. Darla happens to be there. But before this, we find out Angel's backstory. Angel had back in the... Gosh, what year was it? I don't even remember we said this. But basically, Angel ate a gypsy. And they were not happy. The most beautiful gypsy in their whole tribe. And the gypsies did what gypsies do at that point. They cursed him. And they cursed him the best way they knew how. They gave him his soul back. So the part of vampires that everybody knows and loves is that they're soulless. They don't care. They're killing machines. They just eat.
They have no
conscience. Now everything he's done for the last 100 years comes flooding back to somebody with a new conscience. And it basically breaks him and shuts him down. And so, yeah, like living on your sins for a while after that's got to be pretty humbling. We come to find out that Darla is actually Angel's sire. She's the one that made him, which, again, spoiler alert, makes it so much more meaningful when he's the one that sticks the stake in her heart.
Yes.
Because as much as, Angel's supposedly good now, there's always that thought your sire is always your sire. And she thought, when the chips were down, she just assumed he would always come back to her, not stake her to death. So, poetic. And then we find out that it was a woman that was in the house. Joyce wakes up and says, I must have scared Buffy's friend, the schoolgirl, half to death. And everybody like, what? And then, try to save just in time for Angel wasn't the one that bit your mom. It was Darla. Dun, 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 played by the beautiful, what's her face? Julie. Why am I blanking? Why am I having such a hard time with names? Julie Benz. My goodness.
Oh, Julie Benz. Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. In fact, Clint's just commented and put, hang on, I'll pop it in. Yes, Angel with a Soul, that torture brooded bloodsucker. Exactly. But actually, I think Clint met Julie Benz at one of the cons last year, possibly.
I was there.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Was you there with him? I don't know which cons it was. I get confused.
Was, I think, Monster Mania. I think. I don't remember anymore. My brain has turned to pudding.
I think we're both the same. But yeah, amazing. She comes into her own in this episode for me. You literally get that premise of her.
Yeah. So again, Ryan was mentioning that he thought this came a lot later because we see Darla's demise. And again, spoiler alert, like everything else in Buffy, she might be back. That's
Who
a story
knows?
for another day. But as we know now, the Master is still planning his plan. He's, pissed that she keeps thwarting him. But this what's that little fucker's name? The chosen one.
Oh God, the anointed one. Can't
The
remember his
anointed
name.
one. Yeah, I don't remember his
Well,
name.
that
Colin.
will be.
Colin. So little Colin. Julie Benz. Yeah, she does look great. And it was Monster
Yeah.
Mania. Yes.
Absolutely.
The memories still work. Yeah, she really is beautiful. So yeah, this is actually, I liked this episode, rewatching it again more than I thought I would, because as I said, I think offline, I have this weird, when actors do things later in life that annoy me, like sometimes they just get that little, and I don't know, I think I was down on David Boreanaz for a bit, but he won me over with this.
I do love him, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I do love him, I'm afraid.
He's wonderful, and I loved him. I mean, once we're done with Buffy, or once season 4, we'll do an offshoot of Angel one day too, because you got to watch them for the crossovers.
I think we have to. There's definite crossovers as we come through as well.
So, anything to talk about on this episode of Angel, Ryan? You got anything?
I didn't care for this episode as much as I think you guys did. I mentioned with the hyenas, like it felt like classic Scooby-Doo Monster of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When Buffy is doing this
soap opera,
for lack of a better term, classic Buffy, like balancing being a high school girl and a vampire slayer at the same time, that's when I find the show is its least entertaining. And this episode was 95%.
Yeah, girl
classic
with crush.
Buffy.
I get that.
Yeah. David Boreanaz. It's weird to see baby David Boreanaz.
I know.
I know him mostly from, and I think it only came out a couple years later. I know him mostly from Valentine.
Oh, Valentine. Okay, because I watched
Valentine. Yeah,
the dude looked like
doesn't
he
get
aged
mentioned
like
actually.
20 years.
Valentine much.
He looked like he aged 20 years between Buffy and Valentine. Not in a bad way. The dude
got to
looks
go back
amazing,
and find him in the episode of Married with Children. You want to talk about Babyface?
Oh yes, I know.
He gets
the one.
owl slam into the wall and out the door.
But then you just mentioned briefly there, Burns. I mean, I love Burns, and I've watched the entire thing. Yeah, I've also watched SEAL Team. I'll be honest, I didn't dislike. I've not watched all of it. I've watched a couple of seasons. I need to watch more of them. I'll be honest, I didn't dislike it. I do kind of like him as an actor.
Yeah,
he's very much just him. I find.
The dude's had a very successful career.
There's nothing wrong with that. But he's an actor that kind of plays himself in a way. I mean, the Angel was a bit different. He was very young and very brooding, as you say, very shining. And we love that.
He's the Clint Myers of. I'm sorry.
It's the Clint Myers of the Buffy universe.
Oh, it's Clint Myers' shirt off, Bobby.
So no, he went from Buffy to Angel. He's been in a couple movies, and he was on Bones for years. The dude's never stopped working.
Seasons. He's got a great, and then that what did you say, SEAL Team or something? He had another success.
Yeah, which came just after that. Yeah, SEAL Team came
and
just after
as we know, the David Aurora Borealis. If you look up in the sky, you can see David Boreanaz just sort of.
He's out of the works, but yeah, he's great. Mm-hmm.
Clinton, love you. Yeah, I love.
Yeah, no, I don't have a lot to say about this one.
I love any excuse to see the Master. We've discussed this before, Ryan, but Mark Metcalf, are you familiar with him? He plays the Master. He's from, the best thing most people know him from is the either Animal House or like the Twisted Sister videos. What do you want to do with your life? I love that.
I did not know that was Mark Metcalf.
So that's Mark Metcalf. That's the
I didn't
Master.
know that was the Master.
Got to meet him a couple of years ago at Pictures of Carcon.
So, yeah, Master's fantastic. What's his name from Mortal Kombat Annihilation? He was the baddie in the first 2 episodes.
Oh, Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
Love Brian Johnson. Like,
I
he's my
feel the
Facebook
show-
friend, and
yeah.
I just get so excited when I see his name. I don't know why. I've never met him. I want to, but
I feel that it was a missed opportunity for the show not to keep him around longer as
Yep.
a reoccurring baddie that Buffy could kind of bump heads with on and
Yes.
off before the
the
Master.
guy that always reminds me of him, Jeff, is it Corbin? No. Oh, you'll know it. I'll have to look it up later. He's in
Yeah.
a later episode, and those two I always find interchangeable in some weird way. The
Yeah.
one
Brian
from-
Johnson's in a later episode too, isn't he?
You might be thinking
As a
of
different
Jeff.
character.
Yeah, maybe. But I think you're thinking of the other dude that reminds me of Brian Johnson all the time, and I always mix up.
Again, any answers to any of this, make sure people put it
I'm gonna
in
have to look this
comments.
up
Jeff
real
Kober.
quick.
I think
So we
it's Kober. Jeff Kober. Look that up and see if that's. Oh, I have my thing here. I could look that up and see if that's a person.
I've got a Brian. Clint Myers says thought it was Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson, yes, from.
Oh yeah, we're
episode
saying
one.
Johnson, but yes, it is Brian Thompson. And yes,
Oh,
it is
I
Brian
said
Thompson that
Johnson.
I'm-
You're right. Brian
Yeah.
Johnson is actually from
Thank you, Clint.
Kevin Smith world.
But
Sorry, Brian
it is
Thompson.
Brian
Jeff
Thompson that I'm
Kober.
I'm just
thinking of.
happy that everyone's in.
Jeff
Brian
Kober
Thompson is in a
that
later
guy.
episode.
Oh yes,
Okay.
yes, right, yeah, yes.
But no, it is
Yeah,
Brian
no.
Thompson that's in another episode as a completely
I'm
different
terrible
character.
with names. That's
That's
why
awesome,
it's
'cause
Abby's
he should be
department
in
is
every
names.
episode. He's amazing. Well, I think I'm getting. Can you hear that?
I was just gonna say the rest of the states finally had enough with Florida, I see.
Flight path. We had brilliant thunderstorms today. It was so nice. Rain,
Really?
thunder, lightning. I take
Oh,
it when I
that's
get
awesome.
it here. So, all right. So, at this point, we're left torn with Angel because he could have killed her in her sleep. We come to realize he's in love with the Slayer. Darla points us out, mockingly, that you're in love with her and she wants to kill you, which basically is like every episode of Buffy from here until the end of time.
Yeah. In every scenario.
So, what else we got about this? Any music in this you need to talk about, Miss
Yep.
Quinn?
Literally, strangely, there is just one track in this that shows up anywhere. The rest of it is filler music with no name or credit. And that is at the end in the Bronze when they kiss final goodbye. And they've realised that it's not going to work no matter what, even though, he's a vampire and he hasn't killed her and he's got a soul and all blah, 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 blah.
He's like the vegan.
And that is I'll Remember You by Sophie Zellamani.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I actually remember that song, sort of.
Yeah, it was a track immediately when I saw the name for it and I heard it. I remembered it from the first time. But yeah, that's the only music in that. If anybody knows any extra music that they can find that I can't, again, send us a message, put it in the comments or whatever. But yeah, Sophie Zellamani.
So Ryan is not a fan so much of the soap opera Buffy episodes. We're going to have to call him back on when we get the Monster of the Weeks, because those are always fun.
No,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Next
just make
week,
it a running gag. Always bring me back for the the heavy soap opera ones.
there you go.
Yeah,
Joyce's
just for
mocking.
those, just to put
Me
you
Well,
through
getting
next
it.
week-
progressively grumpier every episode I'm on.
And then it's drunk Ryan tells us off. But
Oh, yeah,
next
can we have
week
drunk
have-
Ryan does the sitcom episode?
does once more with Abby and Claire and drunk Ryan.
Yeah. I will
I
find
Robot
though there is one
Eugene.
thing. Sorry, Abby.
No,
I will
please.
find there is one thing that drags you through those sitcom style episodes, and that's Sandra's lines. Sandra is funny and makes me laugh out loud in
Yeah.
every single one of those episodes.
my
That's kind
spirit
of,
animal,
as
I
you
think.
would maybe think is filler and not Monster of the Week. Sandra drags it through with the funnies, I'll be honest.
Next
I
week.
mean, I know
we
it's the
have-
writing, but he delivers
Well,
it so well.
yeah.
It makes me laugh.
Say what you want. We did a disclaimer, Ryan, in our very first show about the touchy subject of Joss Whedon, and
Yeah.
we've determined that
Mm.
we all understand, we all empathize, but this is something that was a love of my life for a very long time. So we're going to embrace that for all the people that work so hard on it.
Actually,
The writing
I'm-
is outstanding in these shows. The quipping
It
and
is.
the fast. It's like Buffy made way to Gilmore Girls later on, like that real quick
Those
fire.
intricate,
Is that
fun,
your cat?
jokes.
It's my cat, yeah.
I love
A
it.
buddy of mine said that you're allowed to, even though people that have created things you love are become, well, Joss Whedon's.
Yeah.
If it was before you found out, it's okay to enjoy it.
Yeah, and depending on how, like, I don't necessarily, well, again, I don't want to get into this subject, but we decided we're going to do one episode where we discuss, and it's probably
We
going
will
to be
discuss
an
it at
episode
some point, but we'll get
later
to that.
on.
Yeah.
And I have
Oh,
the
yeah,
one
it's
in mind where it's a very particular episode with Buffy and Spike that I don't like to watch. So I have a feeling we'll do that one on its own and discuss all those topics later. And
yeah, I think it's
far
Seeing
out.
Red, isn't it? I think it's Seeing Red, I think is the name of the episode. And I agree with Abby that it needs to be tackled in a separate episode at a time. But at this point, we're not taking away from the amazing people that all worked on it.
I love this show so much. I watched it from the day it aired until the day it ended. And
it's become a comfort thing for me over the years. You know, it's got me through a lot of hard times.
Ryan's going to take the quest with us. Next week, we're going to do iRobot Eugene, and which is episode what?
8.
8.
And then 9.
The Puppet Show, which is episode 9, which
has so many vibes you'd love, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen these episodes, but even if you can't join us next week, but if you can, great. But if you can't, I still think you need to watch them.
Yeah.
Because,
I've been watching it along with you guys.
I love that. That makes me so happy.
Thank you. That's amazing. We love that.
That means, but like I said, this means you have to actually do the entire series, because I have not seen past season 3, so I'm using you guys as an excuse.
And I'll be honest, really excited because there are, 3. Like I said, Hush and why do I keep wanting to call it the Dream episode? But you know the one I mean. Like, there's so many episodes that are very specific one-offs.
Tabula Rasa, the
Tabula Rasa, I love. So anyway, we're just excited for you, Ryan, because there's so much. I get that some of it in season 4 is actually not my favorite season, but some of my favorite episodes. That's all I'll say. But again, we'll discuss that when it gets closer. So does anybody have anything else to recap on before we let the world go?
Nope, I'm good.
No? Well, I really appreciate you guys being here with me. And everybody else at home, like, subscribe. Let us talk more about the show that we love. And
we love this show. Quickly, before I forget, again, podcast Turd, Perfect Turd Podcast, our friends on YouTube who have been amazing and shouted us out this week. We love you. Go and look at their channel. Again, I'm going to quickly thank Hamiltonville Horror Podcast, our friends. Again, Ryan is part of that. Thank you, Ryan, for being with us as well tonight. Also, I want to thank Rich, who helps us do all the technical bits because we're useless and I've got a rubbish phone.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. And Abby, back to you signing out.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. I don't know what time it'll be, we'll send a notification out. So make sure that when you subscribe, you hit the little bell so that you'll know when we go live. And we love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
I love that cat.